Okay, so we're back at the garage. You can probably tell currently in the blue car. What I'm going to do is remove the steering wheel and the airbag. I want to get to this binnacle so I can show you how we install the rev counter. As you know, the rev counter is actually on the black car, but I'm going to show you the process for stripping it on this one. Tools you're going to need a Torx 30. I use it with a ratchet. That's for undoing the airbag itself. Japanese industry standard Phillips number 2 screwdriver. Interestingly enough, although Citroen's French, it seems to be Japanese fittings on this. Makes sense with a lot of it being Toyota. And you're going to need a 19mm socket with an extension as well for unbolting the steering wheel. What I will say before you start work on any airbag is make sure you disconnected the battery. I disconnected this yesterday, so I believe the minimum's usually around about half an hour, but to be safe I normally leave them about 24 hours. I'm not driving these cars anyway, so I'm coming to no harm. So the screws are a bit awkward to reach. They're angled a little bit, the Torx screws that hold the airbag in, so they sort of point towards the middle of the wheel, if you like. So you just unscrew these with the Torx screwdriver. I have loosened them a little bit with a ratchet, so a bit of a cheat there. Now you're not looking for them to come all the way out because they don't come all the way out. I think it's just make it so that it's a lot easier to refit them. If they came all the way out, it'd be an absolute nightmare trying to refit them in. So then you can pull the airbag towards you. Worthy of mentioning, there's a horn wire on the back. So disconnect the horn wire. Takes a bit of a pull, that's it, gets it out of the way. And on the airbag connector itself, there's a little yellow tab in the middle, a little lock-in tab. Just pull that out. You can get it with your nails, and then when you've pulled that out, you can just disconnect the airbag. So the next thing we need to do is 19mm. I've had the ignition on with the wheel loose just for the ease of getting the airbag off. So now I've turned the ignition to the off position. I want to get the wheel straight before I disconnect the wheel. So I'm just going to undo this now. There we go. That's nice and loose. Don't take the nut all the way off, a good tip. Centralise the wheel again. Oops, steering lock's come on. I'll just centralise the wheel just in case I want to know where centre is on this. So leave the nut on a good couple of turns because the wheel usually puts up a bit of a fight like this for coming off. This is a real tight one. There you go. The last thing you want is for that, instead of clicking like that and hitting the nut, is to come and hit you in the face. The wires just literally pull through that slot there. Okay, so next thing, just undoing the binnacle here now. So there's these 2 Japanese industry standard Phillips 2 screws. Okay, and that's the binnacle now going to be loose. Just clicks at the back and pulls off from the top. Now the timeline's going to be a bit strange here because I've actually taken one off the black car already. I've taken it home and you can see there's some lines you need to cut it out to mount it around the rev counter. So bear with me now, we're just going to go over to the other car. I'm going to take some of these tools with us. We're going to put the rev counter in the black car now. Okay. There we are, back at the black car. I've got the rev counter there on the driver's seat. I'll just move that out of the way. Put my tools and the keys down there. I'll just make some room on the seat for me to put the camera down. There we go. Okay, so here's the rev counter. Now, this car has got the correct loom now. I don't know if it's an urban myth or not that not all cars have the loom, but this one has. The plug's back here. Now, it can feel a bit tight. This one's got, well, you can see the colour wires it's got on here. It's got a red one, a blue one, a green one and a brown one. Now, it was taped in. That's why it felt tight. You don't need the tape. The tape's just there to stop it rattling, essentially, if you don't have a rev counter in the car. So that just plugs in there. There's a little 10mm bolt that goes into the rev counter itself, and then there's 2 little metal locating tabs. You can see here and here. So you just literally push it in and then put the 10mm bolt in. So pretty simple so far. I've got down here a little ratchet so I can tighten up that 10mm. Got the socket up here. It's always satisfying when you have to flip your ratchet the other way for tightening stuff up, or is that just me? So here we've got the binnacle that I cut at home. You can see, I'll show you at the end of this video how that was done, and this literally just slides back on, clicks in place. Those two crosshead screws. Now I'm not going to bother refitting the steering wheel because there's a new one coming as part of my safety kit. So, but if you were, all you'd need to do is feed these wires through. One's a scrub ring for the airbag if you're going to run the airbag again, and obviously the other's the horn push. Just put those back in and put the airbag back in itself. And if you see in the steering wheel here, you can see these screws. As I say, they don't come all the way out. They stay located just for ease of reassembly. So essentially, there we go. I mean, all that's left now is for me to show you the rev counter running. So just bear with me 1 minute. Okay, so back at home now, and we're going to cut the cowl for the rev counter. Now, it goes on the right hand side of the cowl on the dash binnacle, the dash pod, if you like, in the UK. Handily, Citroen have put some markings in here, if you can see, where you need to cut out in order to fit it. Now I've used one of these window marker pens just to highlight it a bit easier. I know if I cut to the outer edge on there, I'm going to actually get that cut in the right place. So I'm just going to use one of these generic Dremel tools with a little cutting disc in there. Obviously most important piece of equipment is the old safety specs. We're going racing, so we need to be able to see. So I'm just going to take my time and start cutting this out. Okay, so that's the bulk of the cutting done now. That's the piece of plastic I don't actually need. So now I'm going to swap over to a little standing Dremel attachment, or generic Dremel attachment, and just tidy up where I've cut. Soon have this done, be back at the garage and have the binnacle refitted. Well, ready to refit. There's no point actually fitting it right now because at the minute I'm going to have to keep it off because I need to take the dash off in order to cut the dash top for the roll cage. Okay, there we go. So that's nicely cut out now, really pleased with that. Okay, so I've got the rev counter running now, as you can see up here, if I've got it in shot, there we go. Just ignore the noise there. They do make a funny noise, these little 3 cylinders. Obviously I'm going to give the engine a full service, but there we go, that's the rev counter. And that's it with the binnacle fitted. So quite pleased with that little job. Hopefully it's helped you out as well. Total cost of that, because I've got all the tools and everything, I think the rev counter is about £20 from eBay, so there we go, for £20 I've now got a working rev counter. Thanks for watching. The next video, probably with regards to removing the ECU, I need to send that off to get a generic map put on it. Everyone has to have the same map in the CityCar Cup, that way, let's say it was known that a 2010 Toyota Aygo had the best ignition map, everyone would want to run that map on the car. This way everyone's got the same map, everyone's car should perform pretty much the same. So thanks for watching. Give me a like and a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more work on the Citroen. Hopefully be on a racetrack soon. Thank you.